Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here for video 2 of the Alas album review series. I haven't worked out a name for it yet. If you guys want to name it, put a suggestion down in the comments. That would be very, very helpful because I'm very, very bad at coming up with names. You should see the placeholder names that I've come up with for the demos and all that stuff. I've got over 75 gigabytes worth of demos for this band now, and some of the names are absolutely terrible. And some of them are not really politically correct either, so we'll just leave it at that for now until I work out a better name for half of them. So yeah. Anyway, to the album review today, we're going to be talking about the successor, sorry. We're going to be talking about the successor to the album I talked about in the last video. This is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is brand spanking new. This is the Red Hot Chili Peppers Return of the Dream Canteen. Look at that album cover. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the back. You don't get that on Spotify. That's absolutely beautiful. Look at the gatefold. Now, off the bat, this is already a much more prettier looking record than Unlimited Love. Just visually, anyway. Let's see what the CD looks like. Yeah, just basic Sally. Basic Sally. Simple Sally. Pretty. I shut off my mic. Pretty. So, Return of the Dream Canteen is another 17-song record by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It, to my knowledge, is actually the longest record, the longest single disc that they've ever put out. It's at 75 minutes, so it's even longer than Unlimited Love. Now, one thing I wanted to comment on was actually the longness of some of their records. Back in the day, let me just get this CD back in. Right, one thing I noticed, back in the day, when they released their first 4 albums, so the Chili Peppers, Freaky Styley, Uplift Mofo, and Mother's Milk, I think the longest album out of all of those were Mother's Milk, and Mother's Milk clocks in at around about 45 minutes. None of the other records went longer than 45 minutes. Blood Sugar Sex Magic hits, and all of a sudden it's a 70-minute record, I'm pretty sure. It might be a 75-minute record. I know Return of the Dream Canteen, though, was longer than it by a few more seconds. But it's a marathon to sit through, right? Blood Sugar Sex Magic is a different kind of record, though, because it flows into, like, each song flows into each other, so it kind of doesn't stop. But Return of the Dream Canteen doesn't really have any of that, right? So about halfway through, it starts to become a bit of a chore to listen to. It is a good record, but I wouldn't say it's as good as Unlimited Love. It's a faster record than Unlimited Love. It's a more upbeat record than Unlimited Love. It's a bit more happy. It's a bit more bit more to dance to. And there's a lot more experimentation going on with this record that I absolutely love. I've never heard the Chili Peppers do some of the stuff that they've done in these records. We're talking about like drum machines. We're talking about old school hip hop beats. Chad Smith, I've never heard a song that hasn't had Chad Smith since 1989. Since Mother's Milk, Chad has always been on the drums. Chad has always carried the beat in almost every Chili Peppers song. And I know that John has been pretty like an underground house producer in his time away from the Chili Peppers, so it was actually awesome to see him able to bring some of that stuff to the Chili Peppers, and it works for their sound. I mean, Anthony, like I stated in the last video, he's not really a singer, he's more of a rapper. And the songs where it's like that, like My Cigarette and the last song, In the Snow, which is a very, very like a. It almost puts you in a trance. It's a very, very trudging sort of song. You do feel like you're walking through the snow as you're listening to it. And since it's on the end of the record, it does feel like the end of a marathon. And it feels like once that song's over, it feels like, whew, okay, that record's done. I can put it on my shelf. But it's not really a record that I would listen to from front to back over and over and over and over again. I've got my favorites. Eddie is a very, very beautiful song. There are some lyrical choices that are a bit like if you maybe sat down and rewrote those lyrics, they like some of the lyrics for Eddie just seem put together a little bit way too quickly. He should have sat down and filtered out some of the trash. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Eddie, my drummer, or the drummer, should I say? Sorry, the drummer. That's a very, very nice song. I believe that's the second single. Tip of my tongue annoys the shit out of me. I really, really like when it first came out, I was listening to it, but it starts to grate on your nerves after a while. Nya, 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 nya. Well, I'm a natural, something like a cannibal. It just gets a bit annoying because, like, it also goes with Anthony's gibberish lyrics. And when you couple gibberish lyrics with annoying delivery, it just. I can't really listen to it, and I'm sure other people feel the same way. So Anthony's gibberish lyrics do return on this record, as usual. Where they work, they work. Where they don't, they really, really don't. That's neither a detriment or a blessing to the band on this record, except for one song. It's on the middle of the record, and when I heard it, I actually got angry. I'm like, how did this make it onto the record? Like, record companies exist to stop shit like this happening. You wonder why, like, people are on record deals. It's to stop bad songs from making it onto the record. Now, this song really, like, should have been left on the cutting room floor. It's a B-side at best. I believe it's on the middle, in the very middle of the record. It is titled Track 6, Bella. I don't know what was going on with that vocal melody. I don't know what was going on with that vocal delivery, but Anthony, you fucked up that song. And I don't usually swear or say drop the F-bomb in these videos, but Anthony, you made me belch. That is more annoying than tip of my tongue, Bella. And I believe it goes for like 5 minutes too. So there's no joy to be found there, to be honest, in terms of what Anthony is doing. The rest of the band, though, again, immaculate in the way that they perform. I believe the case with both these records, they were recorded live off the floor. So it wasn't recorded track by track. It was recorded like the band all at once in one live room, which, again, kudos to them. Like, you know, not many bands record live off the floor anymore. My band certainly doesn't. So that just gives the album an organic sound, an organic sort of, like, each song has an organic flowing sort of sound to it. It doesn't sound quantized, it doesn't sound overproduced, and it doesn't sound over compressed. Now, what I mean by over compressed is, have you heard Californication? To my knowledge, this album was not mixed or mastered by Rick Rubin. I only recently found out that Rick Rubin doesn't know how to play the guitar, and he also doesn't know how to work a mixing board. For most of the records that he's done, he has had someone else mix them and master them. And I've got a feeling that for the records that sound like crap that he has done, i.e. Californication or Subliminal Verses Volume 3, or Death Magnetic, I've got a feeling that he tried to mix them himself. So, or at least engineer them himself. I don't know if he really knows how to dial in sounds, but anyway, I don't really mean much disrespect by that. He's a great producer, his name's on everything, but if the legends are true and you don't know how to work a mixer, bruh, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, you must really know how to arrange songs. Because that's the only other thing I could think you're doing or getting paid for is song arrangement. Or maybe they just need a motivator or a life coach. So, yeah, who knows what's going on over there. But yeah, it's a long, arduous, bloated trek of an album to get through. That's not necessarily a bad thing. There are some songs that you'll want to skip. There are some songs that I feel like they could have trimmed it down from 17 songs to about 12 songs, and they would have an even stronger record than Unlimited Love. It would be head and shoulders actually above Unlimited Love. That's how much some songs are holding this record back. They should have just been left on the cutting room floor. Other than that, it's a really, really beautiful album, really, really well produced. The Chili Peppers are performing at their best. I honestly thought like Stadium Arcadium was their peak, but this has proven otherwise. 2 albums in 1 year, that beats a double disc. Absolutely amazing. And I feel like the reason why they have done 2 albums in 1 year is to compete with the streaming sort of model that we're in these days, right? Where everyone drops a million singles in a year. They're an old school band, they're an album band. So what's better than dropping 2 albums in a year if that's the way things are going to be? And if that's the way that they're going to do things in the future, you know, because when Eminem came out and dropped Kamikaze out of nowhere, he didn't tell anyone. And when he dropped his next album after that, he didn't tell anyone. So don't expect to be told about the next Eminem album coming out. He's just going to drop it. Chili Peppers, give us 2 albums every year. Come on, we need it. We love it. We're going to soak it up and we'll buy it. We'll actually buy your records. I'm going to get the cassette. I don't have the cassette for this because it's fresh in my mind right now. It's fresh. I think today's Monday and it was released on October... What's today? October the 17th. And it was released on October the 14th. So this is a fresh review. That is a fresh copy of the CD. And I'm going to buy it on cassette and add it to the collection. If you know anyone that has a copy of The Getaway on cassette and wants to sell it, please let me know. I need it. And tracking down I'm With You was impossible because they weren't making cassettes in 2011. Anyway, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed my review of Return of the Dream. Return of the Focus. Return of the Dream Canteen. An absolutely lovely record with a lovely, lovely artwork done by a lovely, lovely band. I've been your man, Mikki Stixx. I hope you have enjoyed this album review. Please like, subscribe, share it with your friends that like the Chili Peppers. Share it with your friends that like A Love Like a Suicide. Please subscribe. 95% of you that are watching aren't subscribed, so please hit the subscribe button. We'll give you some more content. We'll be getting you some more content, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, please subscribe, please. Yeah, I just lit my microphone. All right.